today, I have to bring on someone with me. Lauren Woolley, Mrs. William Fifth.
Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so excited. Listen, I'm with the queen of hot messes, and I want to be a hot mess, too.
This morning didn't go so great for you either.
Oh, my God.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, I will totally. I'm cursed. Like, anytime we come down to film, teachers off duty, or, now we get to film at the same time, which is fun. I have gotten sick every single time. Like, not a single time I've been down here have I not been sick. And I was like, great, I don't feel sick at all. I usually end up getting like a sinus infection or something, or like the stomach flu or something terrible. And I was like, oh, I feel great. Like, this is perfect. I took like some emergencies. I wouldn't get sick.
Look at you.
And then I woke up broken out all over my body in hives because apparently I'm allergic to whatever was in the Airbnb that we stayed in. So I have like some beautiful photos of hives on my arms.
And it was bad.
It was pretty bad. It was the worst I've ever had an allergic reaction to. So definitely a hot mess today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so today's topic of conversation is kind of something that you and I are both really passionate about, which is, time in our classrooms.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of teachers spend a lot of money on their classrooms. And I don't think people understand how much money is spent on classrooms, or people think that teachers exaggerate how much they spend on their classrooms. But I want to have a conversation with you because you're in a classroom. You're in a fifth grade classroom?
Yes. Fifth grade self-contained. So I have the same 17 kids all day.
Do you like the self-contained?
I do. I was nervous at first because when I first started teaching fifth grade, I was actually just language arts, social studies. So we would switch half a day because I'm at a very tiny school.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working out for our schedule. So like I needed more time for language arts, and the way the day was running, it just didn't work. So our admin was like, yeah, we're going to just make you all self-contained. That way you teach everything and you can make the schedule whatever you want and you have the time. And I was nervous because I had one previous experience teaching fifth grade. I was thrown into a fifth grade room mid-year, and I had only taught second grade before that. So I was like so terrified teaching math and science.
Yeah.
And they're tested, like it's a tested grade level too.
Yeah.
So, all that pressure, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to bomb this. And honestly, like, I love it. I love having a self-contained classroom.
Yeah. So I went from sixth grade doing the English and social studies.
Okay.
And then they moved me down to third grade because it was a difficult class and they wanted me down there.
And they were like, put the good teacher in there.
They were like, she can handle them. She won't cry every day. I did every single day.
Yeah, just because we're good at what we do doesn't mean we don't sob on the weekends.
But I was like, to have the same kids all day long, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I loved it because it is that freedom of schedule. Like if a math lesson went a little bit longer, it wasn't like, oh, I have to send you off to the other class right now.
With this unfinished. Yeah. Right. And I feel like you can build better relationships with your kids when you have them all the time. Like when we switched half a day, like there was always that weird dynamic of like, well, this is my homeroom and that's your homeroom, and but I teach all of the kids, but these are my kids and those are your kids. It was just weird.
Yeah.
So I like that now. It's like it is still like these are my kids and these are your kids, but like even the other teacher who teaches fifth grade, like we have a really good dynamic where I'm like, if her class is acting a fool and they're not listening, like I have no problem like telling them how it is.
Right.
And same for my class. And I really like that. But I like being able to have the same kids all day and like build those relationships with them. And obviously there's downsides because you're like, sometimes there's that one kid that you're like, I need a break.
Is?
Yeah. Yeah. In case you didn't know, maybe it's just me. But like, how you get that one kid who's like, I just need a break from you and I can't get away from you. So I'll be like, hey, can you go see if Miss Harris needs help with anything? Sorry, Casey, I'm throwing you in there. But go see if she needs help. And they'll be like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I can take a 5-second break from you.
Yeah, yeah. That I will say that would probably be my downside of the self-contained. It's just you are with them all day long.
But the freedom is invaluable. Like the schedule freedom is nice.
I would much prefer a self-contained classroom than the class split. But I think the other thing about having a self-contained classroom is not only do you kind of get to make that class your community, but you get to make that classroom your place.
Oh, my classroom is my place. I'm 100% sure that if I had to hide out in my classroom for like a month, I could live in there. Like,
yes,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I have a mini fridge in there. I have a futon. I could fold it down and make it a bed if I needed to. I've got like my little cabinet that I could use as a closet. Like, I could totally live in my classroom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you enjoy decorating your classroom?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm not one of those teachers that like switches out my classroom theme every year just because I don't have the time or the energy to do that. But like, kudos to you if you have the energy to like, if you're like, next year we're going to do ocean theme or like whatever. I think that's great. That's awesome. If that makes you happy, go for it. But I like my classroom is just colorful and like I have black and then bright colors, which is pretty basic. But like I like it because it's kind of timeless and I don't have to switch stuff out all the time. And then if I want to like, you know, revamp little pieces of it here and there, that's fine. And it still all goes together. But I really like decorating my room.
And that was kind of like, that was one of the things that I learned within the first few years is like I did the theme. I think I had, my first year teaching, I had a whale theme. And I did a bunch of like whale puns all over the place.
Like what? I need to hear some of these whale puns.
This is going to be a whaley good year.
Oh my God.
So bad. And then the one of my bulletin boards was
let's blow these test scores out of the water.
Spouting about good work.
No.
So bad. But so crazy enough, I didn't want that theme the next year. And I felt like I had to change the theme every year for the first few years. And then I kind of got smarter as the years went on. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do something timeless.
At my previous school, they did like a building theme each year.
Yeah.
So like they wanted you to like incorporate it into your room, but like you didn't have to. But if you were decorating your door, it had to go with the theme. Okay. So like the first year it was ocean themed. So I had like this, I don't even know what the little words I had on it though, but my mom literally made this like 3D octopus on my door out of paper and like tissue paper behind it. It was really cool. And then like the second year was construction theme. And so I made like a Lego, like, do you know Emmett from the Lego movie?
Yes. Yeah.
I made like a giant Emmett and stuck him on my door. And then like every year was a different theme for the door. So like that I'm fine with.
Okay.
And I do my door differently every year. But like my actual classroom, and like, let me be clear, I have moved classrooms probably 5 out of the 7 years that I've taught. Like 5 of them. Yeah. So I've had to like tear down and put back up 5 times.
No.
5 times.
No.
And
it's
this
like moving
year,
a house. Moving a classroom is like moving
it really
a house.
is. It really is. Like this year I didn't have to move classrooms. I was in the same room. But last year I got moved from the elementary wing. They moved us down to the middle school wing. So I had to pack up all of my stuff and then they had to move it downstairs. I wasn't allowed to move it. And then I had to spend all summer redecorating my entire new classroom. And, you know, I say that like I'm complaining about it, but like honestly, I'm a workaholic and I like going in and doing that. Like that's calming to me.
Yeah.
Like reorganizing and like, you know, purging anything I want to get rid of and stuff. So that's always fun for me. But like I'm sure, and my husband would probably cringe, but like I'm sure I spend a lot more money than I probably should.
Yeah. let's talk about that
Mm-hmm.
because
That's a hot topic.
it is. It is. How much do you think? If
You're gonna get me in trouble.
I know. But like it's a lot of
It's
money.
a lot of money. It's like I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's a lot of money.
Do you so thinking about back to your first few years of teaching, did you we don't first year teachers do not get paid a lot.
Oh God, I was broke as a joke.
Oh, so bad.
Like I was
and then
lucky.
those school loan payments kicked in, and I was like,
I was lucky. I'm not like I'm very open about that. Like I was lucky if I was pulling in like $700 a paycheck as a first year teacher. Like I still lived at home. I had my car payment, and that was it because I couldn't afford to do anything else. Like,
yeah,
I'm working full time for nothing. Like it was. It was a lot. But my first year teaching, I think I actually spent almost like I had saved up money from like my from graduating from college. My family had given monetary gifts and stuff like that. So like I think I spent somewhere around $2,000 stocking my first classroom, and it was like just the bare minimum things I needed. Like I don't know if if you're not a teacher, you might not know this, but like classrooms, like elementary and middle school classrooms, even high school classrooms, if they have like a classroom library in there, that's not all school provided. It's majority of the books are teacher purchased.
If you want good books that are like up to date and
not falling apart
and do not smell like your grandmother's armpit, then you need to spend your own money.
Yeah, no, but I went to any garage sale that had like teacher stuff listed. Facebook Marketplace was my BFF. Like I would anywhere I could find books that were super cheap, I would get them.
Yeah.
And just stockpile them. And my mom wanted to kill me because I had just like a pile of garbage in her living room of just stuff that had to go to my classroom, but I couldn't get into the building yet. Like they weren't going to let me in until like a certain date. So I was just stockpiling all this stuff that I needed. And I got a lot of my stuff from like either hand-me-downs or like I bought them off of Facebook and stuff.
Right.
So like I tried to spend the least amount of money possible, and that was like just the things that I needed. And then over the years, obviously, like I've spent more on my room and to try and revamp things, or I've added new pieces here and there. Like what my room looks like now is not what it looked like year one. And and I don't think a lot of people understand like what a government-funded classroom looks like versus a teacher-funded classroom. Like all the classrooms you see on like Instagram or like literally any social media, any pretty classrooms probably weren't due to a school budget.
No.
It was that teacher, like from the goodness of their heart and soul, spending their cold hard cash on the kids and on their classroom.
And if they are government-funded classrooms that look like that, do you have any openings?
Yeah, let me know where you're at because I'll come teach there. No,
but no, it's very, very true. Like and I felt like going into the first year teaching, you're so excited to finally get your own classroom. Like there's this excitement of going into the first classroom, and you think it is going to look like everyone else's that you see on
every Pinterest
and Instagram. And I mean, I spent all my college pinning ideas for my future classroom.
Oh yeah.
These classrooms were amazing, and my classroom was going to look like that. It did not.
Nope.
I got like the old crickety desks that were legit looked from the 1950s with the chair attached to this small wooden desk. And it's just that's not what's on my Pinterest board.
My first school I taught at was at least like a newer building, so like the furniture was okay, but it was very like the walls were like stark white. There was like one colorful wall in the back of the room, and it was like I want to say it was like olive green. It was like so gross. So like any cute colors or themes you wanted to apply to that, you're like, well, I hope this goes with olive.
Make sure that it goes with puke green. Right in that palette.
My new school, though, like when I first went there, my school that I'm at now, I'm very thankful for the school I'm at now because they do support us. And like if we ask for things, like they say we have a budget of so much money, and then they're like, if you just ask for something, they don't have a problem getting it for you. So
Okay.
like when I first got there and I got hired, I was like, okay, so first things first, I don't do desks. I'm like, I would like tables. Could you find me tables? They actually went to like a school that was closing down, and they were selling all this furniture, and they bought me those nice science tables, like with the black top.
Ooh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
bought me those. So I have science tables in my room, which I love. And then they got me, so they were tall because they were high school tables, and I have fifth graders, so they're short. And so they kept two of them tall, and then they cut the legs down on the other ones so they were short enough for the kids.
Wow.
I know. And then they allowed me to get like high bar stool chairs for the back two tables. They bought them for me.
Yeah.
The next year after that, I asked for a new area rug for my class, like my carpet, and they bought me I gave them two options, like a cheap option and then a nice option that I really wanted. They bought me the expensive one.
Wow.
Like I was like, oh my God, like thank you. Like I
Okay.
right? Like I don't know a lot of schools that do that, at least from my own experience.
Yeah,
So I'm really thankful for that.
I don't think that there is, because a lot of teachers, you know, I think look at classrooms that they see on Instagram and feel like they have to match that.
Yeah.
And like, I remember my first year teaching, I went into debt because I opened up a credit card so that I could buy supplies, because I wanted like the Astro Bright paper, and I wanted all of the fancy things.
I wanted the unsharpened sharpened pencil cups and the the Bostic pencil sharpener electric, and I wanted, you know, all kinds of flexible seating and stuff. So like, oh, I totally get that.
Yeah. And I understand it was a choice, and unfortunately, unfortunately or fortunately, I made that choice. But at the end of the day, it was my choice to do that, and you don't have to spend your own money if you don't want to.
Right. And it like, there's good and bad in it. Like, you know, kudos to the teachers that really want to do that for their kids or even for themselves. Like, I think of my classroom as an extension of my home. I'm there, you know, 90% of my week. So I'd rather be comfy in there than, you know, not. But I feel like sometimes that kind of sets a precedence that it has to be that way, or like you should spend your own money. And like, I don't do any of the stuff that I do with the intention of making anyone feel like that, or feel like, you know, they're not doing enough, or I'm doing more than them or whatever.
Right.
Like, and we had this conversation earlier. We were saying how, like, you know, what I was able to do or buy for my classroom or for my students, you know, years ago when I first started teaching is a lot different than what I'm able to do now, because I literally work 2 full-time jobs, and I'm very lucky to be able to have additional income that I can spend on my students.
Exactly.
So in that regard, I think I also, like, I think I spend more money on my kids now, but it's because I'm working a second full-time job and then going and spending it on them. And that's my choice.
You're still, exactly.
Like,
you're still spending your money on them.
Yeah, but I don't, like, you know, I get it. Like, some people will be like, well, no teacher could do that if they're just a teacher. And I get that. Like, I couldn't do it either if I wasn't doing what I do. And like, same thing, like I'm known on TikTok for like the class parties that I throw, because I go all out. And I make sure to tell people, like, they're sponsored. Like, the videos that I did last year, I had a sponsorship with Oriental Trading Company. And so like, they would literally send me party supplies, and I would just, you know, throw these elaborate parties for my students. And, you know, I think it's important to say, like, well, this was sponsored, so I did not have to pay for this stuff. So, I mean, sometimes it's going to be a different situation for one person than the other. But at the end of the day, like, I think we all just are trying to do the best for our kids that we can. Yeah. You know, that's going to be, you know, and financially possible for us.
Exactly. And that's your best. Like, your best is not going to look the same as my best.
Right.
Just like mine is going to be different from yours. And I think there's this almost misunderstanding between, especially like teachers on social media, that we all have to do the same thing. Right. Or if I do this project, then you have to do it too. And it's That's not the way.
And I think the word we used earlier was like privilege. Obviously, there is a level of privilege being a teacher and also being on social media, having the ability to do some of those things. And I think that's an important distinction to make because, you know, if I was, you know, a year one teacher watching my videos, and I'd be like, oh, I wish I could do that.
Right.
But I can't. And like, it's okay. It's okay to not, like, you know, spend your money on your class. If you're like, listen, I can't, like, first year teacher Lauren was literally like trying to find pennies between the couch cushions because she couldn't afford to pay for gas. So
Mommy,
yeah, mom
help.
So I get you. I see you. I was you. I at times I still am you. And I like, my husband is still that way. He's like, he's of the mindset of like, you know, stop spending your own money on your job. And like, I do it out of a place of love and like out of a place of like, this is what I want to do. I don't feel like I have to do it. But I mean, there also is kind of like if we didn't have, like, if we didn't go out and buy certain supplies or stuff like that, we couldn't do some of the activities we do in class.
Right.
And I know that's the same for a lot of teachers.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, it is a personal preference for me. If I want like a good quality project, or if I want some sort of, you know, decoration. Like my last year teaching, they moved me from third grade back to fifth grade, and I didn't want to do it. And my principal was like, "Listen, I'll buy you all new furniture." And I was like, okay, continue, keep talking. And I was able to, you know, get these beautiful whiteboard tables.
Ooh,
and
I want those.
They're so amazing.
I want
those. If you have the
those.
opportunity to get new tables for your classroom, get the whiteboard tables because they're so good.
I would use those all the time.
Life-changing. But and like I got to paint my classroom and I got to make it my own. But I would not have been able to do that if I was a first-year teacher.
No.
And there is absolutely no shame in having your classroom look at something online. If you like something online, if you like an idea online, like see how you can do that for you.
Right. Like if you're, you know, maybe instead of going out and buying something brand new, see if somebody has something that they're willing to get rid of. Or like the furniture I have in my classroom, like I have the futon, I have a couple different, like I have a round circular table with like little orange chairs around it. Like I literally had a friend who was selling an office space and was like, I have this IKEA furniture. And I was like, I'll take it.
Yep,
will you take it for like $100? He's like, sure. So I got like 2 bookcases, a table, and a futon for $100.
Yeah.
Because I was lucky and I had a friend that was moving something.
And a lot of times, like people are really compassionate towards teachers.
Yeah.
And if you put it out on Facebook or Instagram, like your family and friends will help you out in some certain way. Like, oh, I know a person who's selling this, or just, you know, be creative.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to, you know, ask for help, but also if it takes a little bit of time to get your classroom to look the way you want it to look, that's okay.
It's okay.
It doesn't have to be
There's
like
so
a
many
Pinterest
more
classroom the
years.
first, second, or third, or fourth, or fifth year. Like
I thought my first classroom was a Pinterest classroom. It was not.
I know,
it was
I
a
look
whale
at-
nightmare.
I look at pictures of my first classroom and I'm like, I thought I did something there, and I was like. I'm like, it was not
a
it.
mood. This was a mood.
It was not the vibe, and I thought I did something, and that was not.
Lauren, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Where can the hot messes find you?
All of you hot messes can find me being a hot mess over on the Teachers Off Duty podcast.
Oh yeah!
If you haven't already checked it out, go ahead and check that out. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all the places. Mrs. William Fifth. So yeah, thank you.
She is absolutely 100% amazing.
Oh,
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. This is the first weekend like I got to meet Jess in person, and it was so much fun.
It lived up to the hype, everyone. It did. Do you have time for a little game?
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Hit me.
I love Devin's hand pushing games in our faces.
Oh, thanks, Devin.
You even got a little easel moment.
Thanks. Little art moment. Okay.
Okay, so what are we going to do?
Okay, so you're going to choose one.
Okay.
And we're going to have to come up with a meme from The Office.
This is literally one of my favorite shows, so perfect. Okay. All right. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
Okay. When custodians get to eat for free, but teachers have to pay for their lunches.
Wait, which one is it?
I don't get that. Like, I'm happy for the custodians. They shouldn't have to pay for their lunches, but why do I have to pay for my lunch?
I have always thought that too.
Like, is that the same at your school? Because it was like that. It's like that at my school.
It was almost disrespectful when they like slid that bill, the lunchtime bill, into my box. I'm like, wait, what? This isn't free? Fine. All right. This one is when that one kid yells at the class, she said be quiet.
And they think they're helping to make it quieter.
I'm just like, oh my gosh. This is
or
the
when
worst.
like when you're just standing there quiet, like waiting for them to be quiet, and the one kid goes, shh, like yells at everyone else to shush.
That is like the opposite of
I'm like, friend, you're not helping.
You are doing not any work at all.
Nope.
All right. One more.
Okay. Okay. When there are donuts in the break room. Wait. Oh, I can't get it. There it goes.
I never made it down in time.
They
to
were
get
always
like
gone.
the good kind. It was always
they left
like,
you with the French crullers.
Yeah, or the jelly filled. I'm not a jelly filled. Are you?
I am. I do like the jelly filled donuts.
Oh,
they're good, especially the Dunkin' ones. Yep. See, Dev and Sean know where it's at. Yep. Jelly filled donuts.
Is this like a weird thing that I don't like jelly donuts?
I never used to think I never used to eat them, and then I tried like the jelly filled munchkins, and they're good. So
I feel like that's like a really easy way to get into it, like easing my way into the
with
jelly.
a munchkin, and then just go full force into the donut.
Like, it just was like so much jelly. Like, why?
It is a lot of
so
jelly.
much jelly in here.
But the munchkin doesn't have as much. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Give it a shot.
I like this idea. Okay. All right. This is the principal and his staff on picture day.
Wait, I didn't see. I'd be Creed hiding in the background.
Oh wait, I would probably be.
Oh no, Stanley. Creed looks too happy. I'm Stanley. Like, can we get this over with?
Yeah, I think I'm Kelly Kapoor in this one. She's just kind of
smiley.
She's smiling. She wants to be there, but no, she does not at all.
You see Kelly's
either.
face.
She's just trying to peek
like
out.
half hidden.
I'm hidden. That would be me on like the picture day where I like felt really pretty, and I was like, just someone take my picture because I look real good.
I always hated picture day because like I have to get all dressed up, full face of makeup, curl my hair for a 2-second photo at 8:15 a.m. and then the rest of the day it's like, what did I do all this work for?
Where I end up looking.
What did I do it for? Why?
Where I end up looking like this.
Yeah. Wait, the teacher
like
day
the
pose.
most awkward.
Who sits like this? Yeah. No one. You really want a real teacher pic? Just like
no one does. They're like, put your chin up. I'm like, this does
Dev
not
sits
feel. Like he looks. Why does it look good for you?
No, he moved. That just looks so uncomfortable. Oh my gosh.
All right, hot messes. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Willie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time. All aboard the Hot Mess Teacher Express.